Hey everybody, live on Thursday afternoon. I just wanted to touch base, see how everyone was doing this week. Hope you didn't have the same setbacks I did, but I'm going to share with you today my setbacks that I experienced this summer. I've really enjoyed this summer series. It's allowed me to just kind of go into, what some of the hot topics are for me these days and what are some of the things I'm experiencing as I'm going forward. And I think we all experience setbacks, and it just depends on how we think about them and how we approach them and how we want to overcome them to build this resiliency to kind of the ups and downs of life that we experience, right? And those setbacks could be anything. They could be, getting sick. It could be someone in your family getting hurt or sick. It could be a setback, whether it's a daily setback. Maybe it's something that you didn't accomplish today that you thought you were going to. And I think a lot of these setbacks start from what I like to call the expectations that we have for how things should go. I'll give you a quick example. This summer, I had lots of expectations. Right, I started off the summer in a new group program. I was trying to implement some new protocols for myself, some new procedures. I was really excited to start working out again, start actually working out on muscle and becoming trimmer and building strength and doing all these things. So I had these really lofty goals and expectations. And at first, I put in a really, really good plan. I had a 4-week plan, or actually a 3-week plan, a 6-week plan, and a 12-week plan, right? And I'm probably about the 12 weeks right now. So that would be my 6, 3 plus 3. Now, in my head, how I saw this working out was I was going to execute my 3 weeks, and then I would transition, and that 3 weeks also correlated with my trip to Canada. So I was going to build some of these habits and start laying down the foundations. And then the next 6 weeks, I was going to start to ratchet up, do harder things, push myself a little bit more. And then I would just cruise right into my 12-week, restrictive diet, exercise, all that good stuff, portion of it. But then life happens, right? And I think this happens to all of us, whether we're starting a new workout regime, whether we're starting a new business, whether we're starting a new idea. This happens across the board, right? And I really had to deal with a couple of, biggish physical stepbacks. So I'm going to use this workout regime and everything else as an example of it. And so when I went to Canada in July, I'd started my routine a little bit earlier. I wanted to just build habit. I wasn't looking to do anything crazy. I just wanted to build habit. I wanted to build consistency, right? Which I always believe is the first step is, aim small and just try to hit those mile markers and just try to build that integrity with yourself, right? And then what happens is I'll even draw it because I think it's a cool, I like the visual representations. So here I am at the beginning, right? And I'm moving along and everything's going great. So, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, blah, blah, blah. I go to Calgary, right? And I'm continuing on my trend. So every morning I would work out, I would monitor my calories, just watching things. And then I get hit with COVID. So then I get COVID. And this puts me out of everything for about 6 days in total, right? So 6 days of inactivity, right? And up until here, I was playing squash. I was working out. I was moving around a lot. I was going on walks and stuff, and it was fantastic. Then I get COVID. Knocks me on my butt for 6 days, right? During these 6 days, I'm going to put a big frowny face because that was me. And here was big smiley face because I was doing what I wanted to do, right? And it was interesting because I started thinking about a lot of this when I was on that trip and how much I was missing out on. And I don't know if you caught my live summer series when I was talking about expectations and disappointment. That's what I was exploring during this part was disappointment about what I was missing out on. But then I get back to California and I start up again, and I started up slowly. I kind of was behind a little bit, so I ramped it up slowly as I was leaving Calgary. And then when I was back in California, I'm like, okay, fine, let's implement. So I'm here to go. I'm working out. I'm watching myself, playing lots of tennis. Bam, and I hit another wall. So last week, my back just totally seizes out on Sunday. And it still hurts today, but it's not as bad as it was. I couldn't move. I was in so much pain. It was like, what's that emoji? That's that was me for about 4 or 5 days. And I was working, still trying to help with the kids. My wife's on is like she was doing a lot of stuff around the house and trying to help me out and getting me the appropriate pills and the massages and stuff. But I couldn't do anything, and the pain was so bad that I couldn't think either. So it was putting a lot of pressure on trying to create content, trying to do my job, trying to engage with people, and this was really hard. And again, I was also really disappointed, and I was beating myself up quite a bit, right? And I think we all do this. Like, we don't give ourselves the opportunity to see where we're going. So when I talk about setbacks, this was a whole setback. So let's say this is another 6 days of setbacks. And I always seem to see, and I think that I'm very much like the rest of you, I always focus on the setbacks. And I don't look at what got me to that setback, like all of the habits I was forming, all of the good stuff that I was doing. And for this example, all the strength I was building and the exercise I was doing and the good stuff that I was doing. And like a good engineer, I go back and I analyzed both parts of this. And after getting some coaching on this, I was basically trying to look at what was bothering me the most with this back pain is that my standards were really high. I was beating myself up for having a setback. I was beating myself up for having an injury. Just like back at the COVID, I was kind of beating myself up for catching COVID and what I was missing out on. So I was looking at all the negative things, and I hadn't take any time to focus on what got me there and what's going to get me back to where I need to be. And this is something I can do now that I wasn't able to do before, is when I'm feeling this way and I'm beating myself up, one of the things I always say to myself is, because of the work that I've done before, I can trust in myself that I will get back to here. And then I can continue and I can log in all of these activities until the next inevitable setback. Because if there's one thing that I learned through all of my coaching and all of my lessons and everything else, is that life is 50-50. So if life is 50-50, and I'm going to get 50% good, and I'm going to get 50% bad, well, I'm doing not too bad. So the engineering me goes back and I reference this. This was about 20 days, and this here was about 20 days before I had a setback. Now, easy math, because I like to keep things easy, this is 3-1. So I'm actually doing better than 50-50. And I would like to challenge you guys to look at your setbacks and the energy and the effort you're putting into something and wonder, are you 3-1, good versus bad? Are you 50-50, good versus bad? Are you 1-3? And your challenge is going to be to get from, say, whatever ratio you're at and just push it up a little bit. And then that will help you to get back on and build that integrity and know that this inevitable setback is going to come. But how long is this going to be? Next time, maybe my setback's only 2 days. Maybe it's a month. But depending on how much I've put in here and adding all of these, because this is cumulative, I want to add all that together. And as long as I'm consistent and I don't just stop, I can go to each setback and I can start again. And I know that, and I know that with myself, and I know that you can do it too, is that if you, once you string together a few of these good streaks, one setback, good streak, one setback, good streak, then you can focus on the good streaks. Then you can focus that you're just starting at day one. Well, it's just day one of 100, right? And these setbacks will happen, but let's see how long we can go. Let's see how many of these days we can string together, and it becomes easier and easier and easier. One great thing I saw, and I can't take credit for this, but I saw it and I'm going to share it, was the drawing of progress. And I thought this was really, really cool. So the drawing of progress is we all think that we're going to go from A to B. You know, this is our goal. And it's this linear line. I know a lot of people show it like in a graph. I'm such a nerd. I love graphs, but they show it like this, right? That's how it goes, like one step back, one, up and down, like the stock market. But what I saw was pretty cool, and I think this is really goes to our minds and our mindsets, was this idea that this is how we see our evolution, as just going in circles. Like, for example, I'll use the workout analogy that I'm going now, is that every day it's just the same thing, right? If you're doing laundry, every week you're just throwing the laundry in, throwing the laundry out, it's the same thing. If I go to the gym, I'm just running on a treadmill, or I'm just doing push-ups for 45 minutes. No, not 45, but let's say 5 minutes. And it's the same thing over and over. I'm just chasing my tail. Like, this is just a never-ending loop here, right? But what I saw, and I thought this was really cool, and I want to share it with everybody, is that that's how we perceive it. But what's actually happening is more like this. So each cycle isn't us turning around. It's like going in a car in a parkade, right? Where you go to the top, or to a car park, like the English say it. You come up and you're moving up this, and yes, it feels like we're going around in circles, but we're not. We're actually increasing each little time. And each setback is bringing us back down a bit, right? So each setback might take us back down a little bit, might take us back down a little bit, but we just keep moving up. So for example, if I got around 3/4 and I came back 1/4, well, that's actually 3 steps forward and 1 step back. So I'm still moving up this coil, and I'm still moving up this growth line, and I'm not just spinning my wheels. And I think this is a little bit nicer as a representation than that squiggly, jagged line of, setbacks and, this and this and this. Like, that to me just seems, it reminds me of the Sisyphus pushing a rock up a hill. I don't like that as much, but I really like this. And I wanted to share that with everybody. So, realistically, every setback we have is going to happen. They're inevitable. With life, they're inevitable. And I've seen it with my clients, and I've seen it with my own life, and I've seen it with my friends and my family, that you get to a certain point and you think that you've got to the top of the mountain, but some things will bring you back. Something's always going to get in your way to bring you back or to stall you out. And just relying on your ability to just keep going and just keep going and just keep going, that is the critical part. And I think that is my number one lesson from today, is that have trust in yourself that whatever setback you're facing right now, you're not starting from scratch. You're not starting at the beginning here. You're just kind of sliding back a little bit, but you've built all of this momentum to keep you moving forward, right? So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed it. Like I said, if you're having problems seeing this in yourself and in how you're trying to execute something, or if you're trying to get a goal and you're just stuck spinning your wheels and don't feel like you're getting that forward momentum, reach out to me and I can help you through it. I work with people one-on-one to try to get through this breakthrough, right? And I think you see great results when you have somebody to bounce these ideas off of and have someone coaching you through it. So definitely reach out. Don't suffer in silence, and don't think that you can't overcome it. All these setbacks are put in there for a reason. It's to help kind of build that resistance so that you can get to the next level, that resiliency that you need. All right, so everybody have a great weekend, and can't wait to see you guys next week. Thanks, bye.